This is TWiT.
Big story broke at 1 o'clock this afternoon, just an hour ago. Sheryl Sandberg posted on Facebook she is leaving Meta after 14 years. Today I'm sharing the news that after 14 years I'll be leaving Meta. She says she didn't plan to stay this long. When I joined Facebook, I had a 2-year-old son and a 6-month-old daughter. I didn't know if this was the right time for a new and demanding role, but I wanted to give it a try. She said, I didn't expect to stay more than 5 years, but she's ended up there. Chief Operating Officer at Meta, Mark Zuckerberg's right-hand woman, for 14 years. She went through, of course, the passing of her husband, Dave, some real ups and downs, and, of course, the challenge of running a company that's under constant scrutiny from the feds and from the public, the whistleblower, and all of that. Survived all of that.
If she had left after 5-6 years, she could have gone on to lots of other things, but now she has kind of Facebook cooties.
She wrote a book called Lean
Like she
In.
has to work again?
No, in fact,
No.
Just in case you're interested, that's not what she's. When I took this job in 2008, I hoped I would be in this role for 5 years. 14 years later, it's time for me to write the next chapter of my life. I'm not entirely sure what the future will bring, except giant bags of money. I have learned no one ever is. No, that's kidding. She didn't say that. I've learned no one ever is, but I do know it will include focusing more on my foundation and philanthropic work, which is more important to me now.
Because I have giant bags of money to give away.
Now than ever, given how critical this moment is for women. I think that the timing may have something to do with Roe v. Wade. I don't know. Also, she's getting married in the summer. She says, as Tom and I get married this summer, parenting our expanded family of 5 children, our next few months, Mark and I will transition my direct reports. I'll leave the company this fall. She will stay on the board of directors.
She's going to run for office, y'all.
Oh.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Do you think she can? Do you think she has too many Facebook cooties?
No, because she'll go someplace.
Facebook cooties are a thing?
She missed the California primary, so she won't be on the ballot for
she's got to
senator.
develop it. This takes time.
It would have to be a national office. It would have to
She
be
could be appointed to replace Diane.
Senate. God, that would
Actually, that might be the path because Dianne Feinstein is getting on, and it might be that she retires early, and Gavin Newsom, who I'm sure Sheryl Sandberg has very good ties with, would appoint her, and that would eliminate an election. And then she'd have a couple of years to serve in the Senate before she had to run for office.
That would be very interesting.
Huh. Do you think she might?
I don't think there would be a such thing as Facebook cooties, as Mr. Jarvis
don't think
was
so?
mentioning. No, I mean, considering how the rest of the governing bodies have been put into office here, regardless of their history and past or whatever, none of that stuff matters. It's just, can you scratch the back of the right lobbyist at the right time kind of thing. And
also, name recognition is
I was about to say, she has name recognition.
Yeah, it's probably more important than anything, especially with women. Lean In was a very popular, very best-selling book about how women should, move forward in business and the world. I do think politics is in her future. So, what
of one form or another, she could also be appointed to some federal position, ambassador to somewhere or something. I think she wants something more than that. I think she wants something with some clout.
Well, we could look up, because it's public record, Sheryl Sandberg's political contribution record.
Survey says.
Well,
we could. Most of Facebook's lobbying efforts are very right-wing, so it would kind of be interesting.
She contributed quite a bit to Nancy Pelosi, to Women Making History, 2016, Zoe Lofgren, Act Blue, Amy Klobuchar, Hillary Victory Fund, very Democrat, Bennett Colorado Victory Fund, Leahy for Senator Committee. This is just in 2016. I think the total is more than $500,000. I'm sorry, is that right? $729,000 in. Wait a minute, I can't the dollar sign is in a strange position on this. I don't.
Because it's so far away from the.
Have you seen that many zeros?
We're like, I donated $72.
You broke it.
100, I get it. 171 donations in 2020, totaling 729,000. 2018, 425. The year before, half.
So 2020, I'm curious to see what was that.
Should we look at 2020s?
Yeah,
All right. I have to move ahead. 1900. In January 1st, 1900, she gave money to Finkenauer. There appears to be an error in this database.
Database.
Wow. 2020.
It was not adapted for Y2K.
Yeah. Wow. I clicked the link. Anna Eshoo, who's Democrat, Act Blue with Democrat.
Yeah, Eshu's that district.
Tina Smith from Minnesota.
And very trying to go after tech.
Yeah. These are all, the maximum, by the way, $2,800. She gave the Facebook PAC some money. Nancy Pelosi. So, yeah, very much liberal. Women vote. Chris Coons in Delaware. So, yeah, I don't see, though, interestingly, Gavin Newsom. But maybe I'm looking at the wrong year.
Federal or
it's everything. This is political. This is it's all public record.
I know, but is it just? Is there a separate listing for state? There's separate reporting.
This all is state, so I don't. But no, this is all over the country. Let me see.
No, but I'm saying these are federal offices as opposed to.
Those are federal offices as opposed to state offices.
I see what you're saying.
So there may be separate reporting for a state office.
State office, okay.
I don't know.
Jackie Spear, people for Ben. Anyway.
And who?
Ben and Jerry. Come on, get with it. We only need first names here. She talks about Mark throughout her post and Tom, her fiance, who at first I thought was MySpace Tom. But it turns out.
Well, who was it she was dating who got in trouble recently? But when she was trying to kill stories?
What's
his name?
The CEO of Activision.
Activision, yeah.
Yeah, Kotkin.
That was not meant to be.
She is engaged and will marry Tom Bernthal, who's the founder of a marketing company, Kelton Global. She met through her brother-in-law, Rob. They'll have a blended family of 7.
Brother-in-law being
Dave's brother.
Dave's brother. Wow.
Her ex's, not ex,
or
her late husband's brother.
Late husband's.
So that's kind of nice. Nice. They got.
So did you read Mark's post yet?
No. Let's see. What does Mark say?
I put it up there. It looks like a consolidation of power. He's not going to replace Sheryl. There'll be a COO, but not a Sheryl COO, a pure revenue COO. More stuff reports to Mark.
Remember when Nick Clegg took over global affairs, we kind of thought, oh, this is a triumvirate. Mark runs the technical side. Sheryl runs the operations, and then Nick runs the outward-facing governmental relations. So that's interesting. Without Sheryl, he says,
so it's more
Sheryl joined
consolidation of power with Mark.
I was only 23 years old, and I knew barely anything about running a company. Sheryl architected our ads business, hired great people, forged our management culture, taught me how to run a company.
See more of Mark Zuckerberg. Try logging in or creating a new account, Leo.
No. No. Look how big that is, by the way. That takes over half the page.
Slap.
This is for those just listening. I am reading a Facebook post, but I do not have an account. So Facebook is
it's a lower third, literally a lower third of the screen.
Really? Yes.
Sign in, sign up. Come on, schmuck.
One of the greatest legacies, the incredible team Sheryl's built. Nick Clegg is President Global Affairs. Jennifer Newstead, Chief Legal Officer. Javi, which is Javier Olivan, he runs, let's see.
Business for Instagram and Facebook.
Okay,
like.
yeah.
He's the revenue guy.
Right. Actually, he's been in the news lately with Instagram. He'll become the next COO, where he'll lead the integrated ads and business products, in addition to leading infrastructure, integrity, just a little job, analytics, marketing, corporate development, and growth teams. Boy, Jesus. Javi, I hope you're getting a
but
big
he's
big
not
raise.
Sheryl.
Yeah. But this role will be different from what Sheryl has done. It'll be a more traditional COO role, where he'll be focused internally and operationally. I think Mark really has already moved his attention to VR, to the metaverse. And so I really think that who's running the old legacy business is no longer that important to me, I would guess. As part of this, Molly Cutler, our VP Strategic Response, will join Javi's team and report to Naomi Gleit. Justin Osofsky will report to Chris Cox, who you remember came back. He was one of the founders of Facebook. So it is a bit of a reorg. This will happen this fall. But I really wonder how much Mark worries about Facebook anymore. You know, how important is that? He's
because it has cooties.
Right. He's spending
he
$10
should
million.
worry about it because it's going to generate all of his
engine.
revenue. It's like AOL was, which surprisingly,
But
we
what
didn't care
about-
But we
Do you think? I think maybe Cheryl, and he kind of planned this, Cheryl's saying, we're going to wind down Facebook. The metaverse is the next big thing. I don't want to really kind of start up in that project. Why don't you give Javi the day-to-day operations? You can focus did they say 18,000 engineers and $10 billion a year building this new metaverse. Focus on that. And Javi will, keep things, keep the engine running so we continue to have funds. Nick will fend off
So Stacey, I
government.
think, do they recognize, just to what you just said a minute ago, do they recognize that maybe it is AOL and the smart thing to do is to
That's what I think.
just let it kind of just like AOL, people keep bringing in some money, lots of money, but it's going to feed their next ambition.
I mean, yeah, and AOL still had to manage the dial-up business, as it were. So
They still do, I think, technically.
My father still pays $4.95 a month to them.
Oddly
I was
enough.
scared of canceling.
Yeah.
so yeah.
So yeah, it's a big change. I have to think this is not a surprise to Mark, and that this is probably something they planned, maybe even is a beginning of.
Well, she stayed on the board. That's very important.
She's still on the board.
If you're doing something like this, she probably told him like a year ago, hey, I'm getting itchy feet. Let's figure that. I mean, when you're the CEO, or COO, when you're part of the triumvirate, you have a plan.
I've always thought that Mark had political ambitions, but Cheryl makes much more sense, really.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She's much more palatable than Mark.
Yeah, she feels like she likes people, for instance. I'm sorry, Ann.
She identifies as a person.
Yes, she identifies as a person, human.